As she's talking to me, the Lord told me she's a witch.
Oh, wow.
So I said, hold on a minute. I said, you're a witch. She said, yes, that's why she came to see me. I was told that, there's somebody who came all the way from Austria to see me. During the service, I didn't know who the person was. In the middle of preaching, I just said, hey, you're a footballer. As I was speaking to him, the power of God hit him, and he started to walk backwards. It was a very odd scene. I'd never seen it before. A strange demonic manifestation. I see some strange manifestation in Gen Z's and millennials.
And it's wild.
And I'm wondering, where is this coming from? They didn't go and see one Baba.
They didn't see Baba.
So what I'm finding out is that it's exposure. Witchcraft has been digitized. It's been inscribed in songs, in
visuals, horoscope,
podcasts, and various. So it's just mutated in the way it is packaged. People who've never been to a fetish priest, young people, teenagers, the manifestations, when the power of God comes, you will know that, look, the enemy has gone to a different level. I was on a secular management course, a leadership course. In my own group of 3, the lady who was leading our group, she is the certified psychologist, as it were. And she started saying, she feels the presence here. And she started invoking demons. I knew these were familiar spirits, but she was using management speak, and I was like, hold on.
What is happening here?
Witchcraft is on the increase.
Wild.
Yes, witchcraft has been digitized.
And scaled.
In my own generation, it was analog.
Localized.
Yes, localized, and you have to go to one place. Now, it's all over the place. Why have we not seen the acts of the apostles demonstrated in our lives?
There's something called the new vibes. It's new age, but it's called the new vibes. And it's meditation. People meditate and get familiar spirits to teach them stuff. It is now popular across, even in Africa, even in Nigeria.
Wow. This is the danger of not introducing the church to spiritual. Every generation, there's a desire for the supernatural. They don't want religion, they want spirituality.
Globally right now, there is a proliferation of intelligence. I've watched the prophetic do stuff in warfare, demonic. Is the prophetic also in wisdom, innovation, technology? Because African prophetic, it always looks one-sided.
Africa, is replete the occult.
I have seen people, even in my family, that are born again.
Yes.
They still have demonic strongholds.
Yes.
But they're born again.
Yes.
Is grace not enough?
Unless you trigger that particular dimension, God will be looking at you and say, you have finished it. We are also seeing an increase in depression, anxiety, and suicide. Suicide of people who look ordinary and normal and nothing wrong with them. What is triggering it?
The prophetic ministry has been bashed by sexual scandals, monetary scandals, and you have kept yourself by God's mercy.
Yes.
How do you do it?
If you think about it, every authentic ministry will be attacked. First of all, we are in a battle. There's a continuous attempt by the forces of darkness
to discredit. So how do you discern a false prophet?
Hello and welcome to our latest episode of Beneath the Surface. And guess what? This time around, we're going to switch it all around. Today I have, what will I call you now? A brother.
No, I know, brother. No, a son.
Okay.
A son.
Somebody who's
a son.
Really dear to my heart.
A doctor.
He's
Ex-doctor.
He's a medical doctor like myself, even though we still have the knowledge. And he's somebody who operates in a space which today we won't talk about so much, but I believe, very strongly that he's a relevant voice within this generation.
Yeah.
And I'm here with him, and we're going to switch spaces, switch roles, because in the last few episodes, I have interviewed others, but today we're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk about a number of things. And I'm going to hand over to Dr. Foy. Yeah. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. And I think the question I want to start with is, what is your role right now? What is your role right now in the body of Christ? Okay,
thanks for that question. It's actually a broad question, but I'll try and hone it in. So I believe very strongly that, when God calls a man or a woman, there is a calling, but persists in their assignment. And even though I am a pastor of a church, I believe I have a number of roles, but in this season in particular, what the Lord is having me emphasize particularly is restoring the role of the prophetic in church. I dare say also the apostolic, but more so the prophetic. And when I say the prophetic, I'm talking about the fact that over the years, if you look at churches, they're headed by pastors.
Yeah.
But the Bible talks about the fivefold ministry. And the two most misunderstood ministries within the body are the prophet
and the apostles.
Okay, so let's focus on the prophet. I believe God has called me to authenticate the prophetic ministry. And what do I mean by that? In the sense that it is real, it is active today, it is needed today. And because it has been bastardized, most people don't want to touch it. Okay, and when I talk about authenticating the prophetic ministry, I'm talking about the fact that the prophetic ministry is very needed. Okay, and the way I kind of like describe it sometimes is, you're a medical doctor, I am, so I was trained, at the University Teaching Hospital, Ibadan, UCH. And I remember, in terms of radiology, so when patients come with a disease, if you want to diagnose the disease, you can ask questions, what are the symptoms, this, that. But if you really want to,
hone in
and target, you send him in for an X-ray. And then, you want to get a better description and see the motion of what is happening there. You send them in for ultrasound and they, localize this is where this thing is. And I remember when they brought in something called a CT scan. A CT scan is a big equipment
machine,
and it will tell you the specific
everything,
to the blood vessel and all of that. It changed the trajectory of that hospital. Why? Because lesions and tumors and cancers that would have been missed was picked up by the CT scan. But you don't have CT scans in little hospitals. So the point is this: the prophetic ministry is like a CT scan that picks up things that would otherwise, if not picked up, will kill people, derail lives, destroy people. Another way to describe it is, can you imagine an airport without the screening? When you walk through and then what will happen is that you have more hijacks, you have more terrorist attacks. So what is happening in most churches when we despise or don't recognize the prophetic ministry is that a lot of things that you should pick up from a prophetic scan, you miss. That's why many churches, shut down. That's why many pastors fall into scandals. People die before time and stuff like that, and so many other things. The prophetic ministry is very, very, very
Pastor
important. Yes.
I'm going to be vulnerable and ask you hard questions.
Yes, that's all right.
The prophetic ministry has been bashed by sexual scandals.
True.
Monetary scandals.
True.
And you have kept yourself by God's mercy.
Yes.
How do you do it? Or is it that you never had struggles or temptations, or because it's like the prophetic is mysterious and those things, it's like everybody it's like there is something about that.
If you think about it, every authentic ministry will be attacked.
Okay.
So it's not just the prophetic ministry, but particularly
that.
You have pastors. Because especially in recent times, you see scandals and there's first of all, we are in a battle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you are aware that we're in a spiritual battle. So there's a continuous attempt by the forces of darkness to
discredit. Okay.
To discredit. So having said that, so there are certain ministries that have, for want of a better word, they are targets. Every ministry is. So even praise and worship
is.
Yeah. But prophetic ministry, and I will tell you, from two angles. So authentic prophets generally are attacked. Okay. But then you have a proliferation of false prophets, even within the church. And that's another dimension. And when I say false prophets, false prophets to operate, for them to function within, their sphere, many times they're empowered by sexual immorality.
Okay.
So sometimes some of the ministries that we hear about, when you say, oh, there's this scandal or that, some of them, I'm not saying all of them, are false prophets that emerge within the church. And all you're hearing about is, the things that they were doing to enhance or to empower that ministry. Mind you, I said, if not all. But some of the scandals you hear about are people that you thought were authentic, but were false prophets who, to empower the occultic powers, they get involved with sexual acts and stuff like that.
So this is one side. The other side of the prophetic.
Yes.
I have been at least to 80% of your events and programs in Lagos.
Yes.
So I've experienced the prophetic.
Yes.
Globally right now, there is a proliferation of intelligence.
Okay.
I don't call it artificial. I call it intelligence.
Okay.
Because it is curing diseases.
Yes.
It is building armory here.
Yes.
And when there is something in the earth realm, heaven is saying something.
Okay.
Something about spiritual intelligence.
Yes.
I've watched the prophetic do stuff in warfare,
Yes.
demonic.
Yes.
Is the prophetic also in wisdom, innovation, technology? Is because African prophetic, it always looks one-sided. So give me the robust idea of the prophetic.
So I like great question, but I also like what you said at the end when you say African prophet. You see, the prophetic will speak within the context that it is in. Okay, so you have, if you even just look at scripture, and there are different kinds of prophets. So you have the Daniel.
Yes, Daniel.
Era, and his positioning and his sphere was politics. It was, within the secular sphere, and it was about bringing about, the intelligent people were put together. If you remember, when they tested him, he was found 10 times better. He was subjected to the literature of the realm. But what his operation in the prophetic, focused on the solutions for that particular realm.
Yes.
Joseph, the same
Solutions.
way, economics for that realm. So God is diverse, God is multi-dimensional. But if you also remember, you have Elijah, and he came into a scenario where there was Jezebel and Ahab, and it was about the occult and all of that. And he challenged, he shut the heavens to get the attention of the king at the time. It's almost like he shut the economy, but then he challenged the prophets of Baal because it was about shutting down occultism. And so his approach was different. Now, Africa, is replete, whether you know it or not, even though the secular business people and all of that, with the occult. I can give you some very real scenarios and examples.
I understand.
Yes. And you'll be amazed. I'm a pastor, and I pastored for 33 or so years. You'll be amazed at the number of people who I have pastored and counseled who have been involved, directly gone to get fetish powers for protection, or fetish powers to prosper them. I can give you real scenarios. I'll give you an example. I remember some years ago, I was pastoring here in London, maybe about 15 or so years ago, and I was told that, there's somebody who came all the way from Austria to see me. And I was like, well, you will see me after the service. And, and during the service, I didn't know who the person was. And in the middle of preaching, I just said, hey, you're a footballer. He said, yes. I said, yes, I came to see you all the way from Austria. I said, so you are the one. And as I was speaking to him, the power of God hit him. And he started to walk backwards. It was a very odd scene. I'd never seen it before. And this is right in the middle of his service, a strange demonic manifestation. And then the Lord began to speak to him. I was speaking blind. I didn't know what it was. And at the end of the service, I was told that that's the gentleman who wanted to see me from Austria. When I sat down with him afterwards, why did he come to see me? Apparently, before he traveled from Africa here for his football career, he went to see a fetish priest to give him powers to succeed in football. And now he knew that the years, they told him maybe 7 years, the years for the thing to come to an end was over, and then there was going to be a sacrifice, and it could have been his life or the child's life. what I'm saying essentially is that how did he was watching me on television and he heard me talking about certain things and he said, this is the man I need to go and see. Because all the other people around me are not speaking this thing. I got involved in this. Anyway, long story short, he came and he was delivered. Now, people like you will watch that guy play football and you will not hear the back end of the story.
I've been to your sessions. They are wild stories.
You know, incredible stories of things, you know, people doing, they got involved in crazy things, either for protection. I mean, there's another one about a guy who went, I think when he was at uni, cultists were trying to kill him. And then somebody told him, look, to protect yourself, come and see this Baba. He went, when he got there, as he was about to step into the Baba's place, the Baba said, go back. He said, why? He said, there's somebody following you. It's like the house fire, and he's disrupting all my juju. So he told him, step outside, I'll come and meet you outside. Then he said to him, well, if you want my protection, then I will have to put some incisions on you. And so he said, well, I've come for protection. And then he put some incisions on him and then told him to come in. That was how he came in. This gentleman I'm talking about, I mean, I say this with a lot of, discretion and confidentiality, because somebody is, a friend and dear to my heart. That was the beginning of his problems. Why? Because he went for protection. What he didn't know was that what that man did, remember when he came in, the man saw fire. That was his angel. He just gave that man permission to shut down his guardian angel activity on him, and then he attached a demonic strongman to him. When I first met this gentleman, it was at a night vigil, and I saw him being thrown all over the whole place, scattering the whole place, and I was wondering, why? This is a Christian man, committed, blah, blah, blah. Now, it is many years after when I asked him the question, what exactly was that about? He gave me the backstory. That, look, when he was younger, this and that. And how many other people are in church? I'm talking about this man is a successful man who wears suits. And actually is a minister today in his church. But, if not from that exposure, so there are things that people have dabbled into. There are things that is catching up with them now. But you see, nobody wants to address those things. But you see, God is interested in those things. And if you look at the book of Acts, you will see that, in terms, it's very real. You see Paul preaching, and then there's a woman with divination, and he's able to pick it up. And because we don't teach about these things, and we kind of like push them to the side and say, look, let's just preach the word. Listen to this. There's a reason why God gave us teachers, and there's a reason why God gave us prophets. The prophetic realm, and when we talk about prophets, we're not just talking about, not everybody is called to the office of the prophet. We're talking about the fact that there are people who are called to the office of the prophet, like in the medical institution, there are radiologists who will man the ultrasound scan and the CT scan. But you see, everybody can be taught first aid. Yes.
Pastor, I have seen people, even in my family,
Yes.
that are born again.
Yes.
But and I'm asking you genuinely.
Yes.
That are born again and they still have demonic strongholds.
Yes.
But they're born again.
Yes.
Is grace not enough?
Yes.
Because I also know the grace message.
Yes.
That once Christ has died, and
Yes.
so why do we still have those soulish issues? Honestly, because they are born again.
Yes. Okay, thanks. That's a phenomenal question, and it's a question I also always ask my guests. But you see, and people have answered it in different ways. What I'll say is, when we are born again, the Bible says,
All things are passed away. I receive His garment. Yeah.
Brilliant. So when I interviewed Lawrence Oyor, he said, true, all things are passed away, but if a lady was disvirgined before she became born again, does she become re-virgined?
No.
After she becomes born again? If you had a gash and some stitches, when you come to the altar and you're born again, does it disappear? No. So then what is that talking about? It's talking about our spirit is made new.
But the soul.
Yeah, the soul and even our bodies. If somebody who was a sickler or has hypertension or diabetes, when they become born again, does it disappear? So Jesus Christ has finished the work. Yeah, it is finished. But we have to apply it. It's the same way that somebody who has malaria, who, the person could be dying of malaria, and the person, if it's not treated, it becomes cerebral malaria, and the person, starts to experience psychosis and all of that. But then you put chloroquine on the table, it is finished. Pfizer has made the drug. It's called, it will cure the disease, but if the person is just looking at it, yeah, the malaria thing would continue to ravage him until he applies it. Now, we are more comfortable and conversant with saying that people should go to for healing when they have a disease, and somebody should lay hands on them for them to be healed.
Yeah.
Even though Jesus Christ bore our infirmities and our sicknesses, and by his stripes
we receive healing.
And we receive healing. We go
we confess.
And we confess healing. So why shouldn't we confess deliverance? Why shouldn't we go and receive deliverance? As in, what I'm saying is that the healing was already done and finished and completed.
I hear you.
The grace has been given, but grace must be applied.
I hear you.
So, and that's why many people are in bondage. And unless you trigger that particular dimension, God will be looking at you and say, I finished it. So
I hear you. Now, from the age range of what has happened, it seems like the baby bloomers.
Yes.
You people.
Yes.
Were into that.
Well, I'm actually Generation X.
But
baby boomers is probably your parents.
My parents.
Yes.
So baby boomers and even Generation X.
Yes.
Were really into going to see Baba. Now, 2 months ago, I was on TikTok at night, and I saw a jazz man doing incantation.
Yes.
I saw 2,000 kids
Yes.
paying him and giving him prayer points.
Yes.
I saw it on TikTok.
Young people. So we're talking about millennials
and Gen Z.
Yes.
There's a guy called Scooter Braun. Scooter Braun is the manager of Justin Bieber.
Okay.
He said that he used tarot cards to do a $300 million deal, and he got the deal. So there's now digital witchcraft.
Yes.
There's now digital. It's now scaled.
Yeah.
It's scaled.
Yes.
My question for you is, the millennials and the Gen Z, what should we be doing now? What should our focus be now?
So, I like what you just brought up here, because you see, in my experience as a pastor, because you've been to our breakthrough nights and we have certain meetings, supernatural meetings. What I find is I see some strange manifestation in Gen Zs and millennials.
And it's wild.
And I'm wondering, where is this coming from? They didn't go and see one Baba.
They didn't see Baba. They didn't see Baba.
Somewhere. So what I'm finding out is exposure. We are also seeing an increase in depression, anxiety, and suicides. Suicides of people who looked ordinary and normal and nothing wrong with them. What is triggering it? Okay, there are mental health challenges,
but there's
exposure to certain things.
Yes.
Witchcraft is on the increase.
Wild.
Yes, and either like this direct that you said, maybe online somebody said, you'll be amazed at the number of people that have been exposed to, the occult, even in songs. Even in songs that they repeat, and that's a totally different dimension. But what I'm saying is that witchcraft has been digitized.
And scaled.
In my own generation, it was analog.
Localized.
Yes, localized, and you have to go to one place. Now, it's all over the place. And, it's being inscribed in songs,
in visuals, horoscope, podcasts,
and various. So it's just mutated in the way it is packaged. But you will find that, I'm telling you, people who've never been to a fetish priest, young people, teenagers, the manifestations, when the power of God comes, you will know that, look, the enemy has gone to a different level.
Someone said, I know someone who said she watched a movie and that night had a dream of her husband having sex with her in a dream from a movie.
Yes. I mean, there's a podcast I did with Stephanie Ike, and she gave accounts of, look, the particular lady, she was in Hollywood and early, and this lady was looking for a music contract, blah blah blah, and somebody just saw her, and at the petrol station, and said, "Oh, you need a music contract? Okay, come and see me in a day's time." That night, she had a dream where a spirit being came to sign a covenant with her, and told her so and so and so. The next day, when she saw the man, all the man asked her was that, "So, did you sign the contract? How did he know?" What I'm saying is, the age and the sphere that we are in, the thing has been ramped up in different ways. There are people who, from watching a movie, while they're sleeping, they have dreams, they have encounters where somebody wants to sign a covenant, or it's come in different ways, and this is why it is important to talk and teach about these things. Many times when we speak about the prophet and the prophetic, people think it's about somebody standing in front of the church. We need to educate the church about being prophetic. What does it mean to be prophetic? Being prophetic is the ability to hear God. We hear God in different ways, not just by hearing. God gives people visionary encounters. Look, it was normal in the book of Acts, from Acts chapter 1 to the end, where the people had visions. In Acts chapter 16, Paul was looking for direction. He was told in a vision to go to this place. In Acts chapter 9, when Paul was converted, the Lord told Ananias that go and tell Paul that this is his calling. And, he has seen you in a vision. And it's called that you laid hands on him, and so and so. We don't hear about these things anymore, and we see it as strange. And what we pastors tell people, and I can understand, we don't want people to go off the edge.
Spooky.
So we encourage them, you just stay in the word. But you know what? In the book of Acts, God did not speak to people through the word alone. And the word is the standard. And everything must be judged by the word, because people have also gone off to the other extreme. But we see in scripture, why had we not seen Acts? The acts of the apostles demonstrated in our lives, where angels came. That is the prophetic realm. Angels delivered people. Angels visited people within their dreams. They had encounters there. They had encounters about, where chains were broken off them. That is the prophetic realm. And you see, if we don't teach it, we will be doing a generation a major disservice.
The reason why this was an important conversation is because there's something called the new vibes. It's new age, but it's called the new vibes, and it's meditation. People meditate and get familiar spirits to teach them stuff. It is now popular across, even in Africa, even in Nigeria.
Wow.
Why? And I'll say it here, because the church also has failed the generation.
Yes.
Corruption in church, so they don't want what the
church has.
No. I'm done with you guys. You people stole our money.
They want spirituality.
And they're doing it independent of Christ. Some are syncretic. They add Christ, but God, one told me that, I can't even say it because he will know that I'm saying it. Mm-hmm. But he said that there are many Jesus. One said that, oh man,
you see,
it's syncretic.
You see, this is the danger of not introducing the church, to the spirit realm. Like they say, nature abhors a vacuum.
Yeah.
And you see, people have an innate desire within them
for that
supernatural. And that's what happened to our parents' generation. In their own day, they were in the Anglican church, and they say, "Oh, repeat this after me." But then our parents, they were facing attacks, so they went to the fetish priest. So in this, every generation, there's a desire for the supernatural, and if we don't teach authentic spirituality, look, the fastest growing religion in the United Kingdom is witchcraft and shamanism. Why? Because people, they don't want religion, they want spirituality. So the demonic supernatural has infiltrated culture.
Fully.
Yeah, so you have this Ayurvedism, you have,
it's everywhere.
Hinduism, you have even there's hardly anything that you can do that there will not be an exposure to the supernatural. I was on a secular management course, a leadership course, and they asked us to go in groups of 3, and and in my own group of 3, the lady who was leading our group, she is the certified psychologist, as it were, and she started saying, she feels the presence here, that the angels, and she started invoking demons. I knew these were familiar spirits, but she was using management speak, and I was like, hold on,
what is happening
here? What
is
happening here?
What is happening here?
That is in management.
I would even say in creativity.
Yes.
And I'll send you the video so you can put it here.
Yes.
Canva, you know Canva. So Canva is like Photoshop.
Yes, I know Canva.
During their relaunch, they got a good witch to come and chant that this will be unique.
Yes.
And young kids were there.
Yes.
And they were talking about open my mind, brilliance, and the problem with the prophetic in religion is that people don't want it.
Yes.
People don't want the religious church. People don't want the church that is man-centered, Pastor Sola. People are tired of that.
I understand.
That is man-centered, that is really about a man.
Yes. Yes.
They're done with it. So because of that vehemence, that anger, they're looking at other sources.
Yes.
Even in the Christian sects.
Yes.
So how do you discern a false prophet? What are the signs?
That would be a teaching all in itself.
But just generally.
So generally, people tend to think, why a lot of people are taken by the demonic supernatural is that they see signs. But the Bible talks about lying signs and wonders, whereby they say, the guy knew my name. He knew.
Yes.
You can know somebody's name by familiar spirits. Yes, you can know by somebody's name by familiar. You can know, what is going their thoughts and all of that stuff.
Familiar.
So there's demonic word of knowledge, So some of the signs, to know is, first of all, whatever the person is saying, you need to judge it by the word of God. Is the word test? The second thing is you test the character test. Many of these guys, if you watch their lives, so you will see that they are always, they don't talk about sin. They don't, they're always talking about meeting your needs, and then you will see they slip around. You can see it in their lives, and then there's always an emphasis on money, covetousness, and pride and all of that stuff, and then. One of the main tests is you see it's almost difficult to discern a false prophet fully without discerning of spirits. And this is where we're talking about what you were talking about, people are tired of the man-centered thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but what it is that there's the office of the prophet, and that is needed at this time. Because at this point in time, we have like an Elijah kind of scenario. You have prophets of Baal, prophets
everywhere.
So you need Elijah, that kind of whatever. But the role of the New Testament prophet is not just to come and do a show. It is to teach people, to be prophetic. Why? Because the same way the role of the New Testament evangelist is not to just win souls, it's to teach people to evangelize. The role of a New Testament teacher is not just to teach you the Bible, it's to teach people how to study the Bible for themselves. So you see, this is where the word prophetic comes from. So there's the office of the prophet, and the role of the office of the prophet is to teach people to be prophetic. One of my members, was telling me just a couple of weeks ago, Pastor, I thank God for your message. I said, why? For the first time, she was telling me that, she was some guy was trying to date her, this and that. The guy looked good, all tells, ticked all the boxes, came from a particular good church, this and that, and was actually training to be a minister. And then God revealed something to her in a dream. And she said, hold on a minute, this doesn't make sense. And then she began to do some checks. She prayed some more. Long story short, the guy eventually showed precisely what was in that dream. We are not called to be led by dreams, but we shouldn't top down dreams. Why?
I hear you.
Do you understand?
I hear you.
Because God, you see, people tend to shut these things down because they have been, extremes. But if you go and look at scripture, God used those things. Not every dream is true, but there are some that, and there's what you call the seer gift. I'll tell you a real story, a real scenario. If we're going to, you asked the question about how will we know false prophets? And I said, you need the gift of discerning of spirits. There was an instance where we had a program in the church, Breakthrough Night. And as I came in, one of the first people I picked up, I will usually hear things. So 32, maybe an age, 64. This lady says, oh, she's 32, 64. She says, her mother is 64, she just died. And while she's standing in front of me, I said, I see somebody who was young, just turning very old. She said, that's how her mother died. And then I said, I see a pain. I described it going from there. He said, yeah, that's precisely what happened. And she, precisely as I described it. And then I said, I'm seeing a man from Mali. She said she used to go out with a guy from Mali, this and that. At the end of the service, so I'm talking, the first 30 minutes of that program was half, more or less. Then she comes to see me after the service. Said, can she come to see me? She said, and then my pastor, let's say my assistant said to me, he said, look, this lady actually came. She said in front, she came on Sunday to try to see you. And, I told her that, he has other whatever, and I have to go, blah, 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 blah. Then she said, he asked her, I said, look, I can speak to him, and he may see you next week, but you need to tell me, what it's about so I can prepare. And then she says, no, if it's really a prophet,
wow,
he will know.
Wow.
So this happened on Sunday. He forgot to tell me. She comes on Friday, and all of these things are exposed. So the story doesn't end there. It gets more interesting. So she says, can I come and see you? I said, yeah, that's fine. She comes to see me on Tuesday or Wednesday, which is my counseling day. Before I get there, I'm praying and I sleep off. I have a dream. I see a tree stump that has been cut off and was burnt, and I just didn't understand what. So as she's talking to me, she said, oh, she's this, she wants, and this is normal counseling. She's talking to me. All of a sudden, she just said, oh, something, and she had a dream and she saw a tree stump cut. I said, hold on a minute. You said, what did you say? And she said, yeah, I had a dream after her mom died. She said a tree stump cut and it was burnt. I said, I just had that dream. And she looked up. And then as she's talking to me, the Lord told me she's a witch.
Oh, wow.
So I said, hold on a minute. I said, you're a witch. She said, yes, that's why she came to see me. She said, that's why. I said, what do you mean by that? She said to me that, well, she actually started off as a Christian. She told me she was a part of a church that is a popular church here in England. She was actually a part of the prayer, whatever. She was once in the, and then told me how she got involved with witchcraft. She went to one other church, in search of whatever. Saw a woman there who was ministering, supposedly as a prophet. And at the end of the service, she was taken by the ladies, the spectacular whatever, and the lady told her and her friend to come with her to her house or wherever she was staying. She went there. That's how the woman introduced her to the demonic supernatural. And she was taken by it and she started getting involved. She got involved into it. This is a lady. I said all of that to say, remember how I picked her up? I didn't know this lady were in a prophetic meeting. Why did God do that? God did that to show her that there's a greater supernatural power. You see, this lady would have, if not for the prophetic gift, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking, and this is why I'm saying that it is something that needs to be taught within the church, would have infiltrated the system again, probably become an intercessor. As a witch. Yes. And we saw it in the book of Acts, with the lady with the spirit of divination. If what happened with me was the gift of discerning of spirits strong. From it. And you see, you don't switch it on, it's God that turns it on. Yes.
There are two things I want to ask. Yes. Now, one of the reasons why God told us to do Afro Gospel and push it is to bring a line of entertainment that is spiritual, but and can infiltrate that generation. Yes. Because the sounds of this time they are singing crazy stuff. They're singing, I'm depressed, my anxiety is pushed. So they are using words to initiate themselves into depression, into witchcraft, into that. My question for you is, as parents, what should parents do right now in being prophetic for their kids? Because right now, the parents have to be involved with parenting.
Yes. So the warfare is real, and this is why I'm really passionate about these things I'm talking about. There's something called prophetic parenting.
Please explain.
Which is essentially, like I said, you said this generation is tired of the prophet that stands, and I'm saying that this is where our role is to teach people to be prophetic, to understand what prophetic dreams are. If you know the amount of dreams that God has revealed to me, or that showed me what my children were doing or about to do, or something that I had a dream, and I said, I had a dream yesterday, and I saw something. He said, "Wow, Dad." You said, "Can you say the dream again?" I said, "I saw a guy wearing this and this and that." He said, "That guy I met a guy so and so, and he's about to sign me to something. Maybe like a record deal, or those kind of examples." What I'm saying is, listen to this.
Prophetic parenting.
Yes, if you don't, and we also have to teach, parents to be, not just be prophetic, but prophetic intercessors.
Simplify.
Yes, prophetic intercessor. So
what does it mean?
Is someone who sees behind the scenes.
Okay.
The spiritual realm, and sees what really is happening there, either by word of knowledge or discerning of spirits, and that this is at play. And that, hey, Lord is telling the parent, that's your son's friend is about to lead him into an occultic practice. Check him. But then there are also certain times that God will show an attack that is coming to your child, and you have to rise up in the place of prayer to pray it and intercede so that it doesn't manifest.
It's known that mothers are the ones, they call the mothers the intercessors. Should men hear this? Should men rise up?
Mothers have become the intercessors by default because men refuse to rise. Men are called to be the priests and the gatekeepers of their home. When the angel of death was going to come, over Egypt, it wasn't the women that God told. God told the men, take a lamb, kill it, and when the angel of death sees the blood, he will pass over. Which means if the men refuses to rise to do that, the children will die. That was in the Old Testament, but the same is true today, which is, we say the man is the head. Where are the eyes and the ears? They're on the head. Yes. So the man is the one that is supposed to lead. So yeah, women are usually more prayerful. Usually, women are more spiritually inclined and attuned. But when a man takes his rightful place, in the home, it changes the game.
2 more questions. Is it hard? Can a regular man do this thing? Not a pastor, not you, sir. Can a man that has a 9 to 5 do this thing?
I had a 9 to 5 when I started doing this thing. I was a medical doctor. And I had a very
so it's possible.
It definitely is.
Is it hard?
My mentor is a professor in cardiothoracic surgery. He does 8-12-hour surgeries, and he still is he's a prophetic intercessor. He fasted for 2 years, breaking only on banana and peanuts or something like that.
For 2 years?
Yes. So a cardiothoracic surgeon is not an ordinary doctor. So what I'm saying is that, listen to this, we will have time for what is important to us.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
We will have time for what is important to us. If we have time for hustle.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have to create and carve the time for this. If not, look, our children are being ravaged. They are being taken. Look, this generation is at risk.
Wow.
If the fathers don't arise. Why? We need to, when we talk about covering, this is what we are talking about. Look, what I'm talking about is what I've lived actively with my children.
So discipline, sacrifice, fasting, sowing.
Yes.
You have to rise up.
Yes. You have to, My son is, is an artist.
He's not a Christian
He's
artist.
not a Christian artist. He's a Christian
In the
secular artist space.
And
many people would not understand or agree with it, but
it's called. But he does more prayers than most people I know.
Look, in my house, I'm the pastor. I'm not ashamed to say he probably prays more than I do. No, I'm serious. In terms of regimental prayer, you see him like this, and he's listening to Theophilus Sunday, listening to Aromia Science, whatever, listening to all these heavy duty guys, not, and before he shows, he's praying in tongues. He's gotten his friends who are non-Christians and whatever into a culture of prayer and fasting. He's a real influencer in that space.
Yeah, I've watched your son. And I'm like, when I was younger, they took me to Pastor Sola to warn me about MTV. To remember me. Now Pastor Sola's son is headlining tours.
That's God for you.
It's incredible.
That is God for you. If you know the number of people he's reached, the number of souls
is incredible.
Is one. You'll be.
We need more Christians in the secular space.
Yes.
And I think that he's chosen because he's your stock. He's been able to see firsthand. He has seen demons since 3 years old.
He has seen them cast down,
break dance. He has seen everything.
He had a show, I don't know, I think it was in Birmingham, in some city somewhere. And, this is when you talk about the importance of priesthood, and he said that the show is at a place called Voodoo. That's the name of the whatever. Because it's his manager that books it, and he says, and they even just thought it was just a name and whatever. When they got there, they saw skulls and this and that the Wi-Fi code for the the passcode.
Let me guess.
666.
I knew.
So
and Pastor Shoda.
Yes.
It's vibes to them. Oh.
Yes.
These people doing it are not like they think it's just. That's what like all this like. I went for Rema's concert. I went for this guy's concert. These guys are just having creative baths, but these things are demonic.
Yeah, they are. People don't. Some of them are not aware.
Yeah, it's for them. It's creative. It's
fun, but some others are actually actively involved. So what does it do? It's like that. I need your prayer power.
You don't see how.
Yeah, because before then, he went on an 11th city tour. He hadn't reached out because he was able to handle it. Every morning they wake up, they do prayer walks together, they fast. He said, Dad, this is above my pay grade. I need you to speak over me. I need you to pray. So, what I'm saying is that is what you call prophetic parenting. It's prophecy that helped him find his space. His son is involved in, he studied politics. They both found their space, through prophecy, as it were. They're walking in that space with that knowledge. And, this is the way we can advance the kingdom in the 21st century.
Fantastic conversation, sir. I think we end it here. But I think we need more roundtable conversations because there are many extremes. People feel it's spooky. Fathers are afraid of the hard work. The church is confused about who's real now. And the younger pastors are still they're careful, so they're trying to go solo. So we're in a very interesting era.
There's so much to say, but let me. I guess maybe I end by saying this. You see, radiotherapy and chemotherapy. That's what they use in treating cancer and stuff like that. It has its side effects that are damaging.
Yeah.
But we still use it.
Yeah.
We use it. You have to use it with care and with understanding.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And so we should never throw the baby out with the bathwater. My fear or my concern, let me put it, is that many of pastors today are becoming too careful. That we are becoming more careful than God.
And the world is picking up.
Yes.
the mysteries,
yes,
the mystics,
yes,
the supernatural.
mystics, and our children are gravitating
Towards
those
them,
things
yeah.
because we tell them that, hey, be careful, you know.
But the heart of man needs supernatural.
We need this.
There's a void that's supernatural.
Yeah.
I'll leave you and say that. I won't say the name of the movie, but there was a Marvel movie that the actor used actual witchcraft chants in the movie.
There are many
in the movie.
There are many, when I watch some
In the
movies, I'm
movie.
like, these guys they know
In
stuff.
the movie, they know stuff.
Yes,
They know stuff.
There are things that we know, you know, and it's like, how did these guys know that?
Stuff.
They know stuff,
They
and
know stuff.
they used so. We, you know, I think we end with this, and like, you know, I'm sure people have noticed that this conversation has been different from the others.
Yeah. And I'm honored. It's been intimate, different.
It's my pleasure, and we definitely will have you at another time.
Yes, sir.
And where we will talk about, you know, that space in more detail. I know you're in the entertainment space.
But this is important here because this is the eye gates and the ear gates, and that's where witchcraft and the supernatural work.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Great to have you.
Thank you, sir.